I know he believed in me. And although, we had a rocky start, where we were was day and night to where we were, back in my high school days, or back when, even before then, especially before then. So, dear Dad, this message is for you. So today's video is going to be totally different. I remember about 2 months ago I told you guys I needed some time away from YouTube, and I feel like today I wanted to talk about exactly what it was that I had to take some time off of YouTube for. I guess we just jump right into it, man. This video is probably going to be a little bit all over the place, but I just kind of wanted to share this with you guys, not only just to be transparent and just to share with you exactly what's going on in my life, not only showing you all the high moments, but also showing you some of the lower moments as well. I know that there are other people that have been through this same, or may go through, or are going through this same situation that I'm going through, and the way that I'm handling it is not typical. It's not normal, just due to the relationship that I've had with the whole situation in itself. But I feel like it's only right that I share this with all of you today. So if you're watching this video today, Saturday, July 29th, I'm at my dad's funeral right now. And this year in May 28th, 2023, my dad passed away. And still to this day, it being 2 months later, I still don't really know how to feel entirely about it. For the simple fact that me and my dad's relationship wasn't the typical father-son relationship. And I want to, before I get into this whole story, I want to say I'm not looking for anybody to, I'm not looking for anybody's grievance, or I'm not looking for anybody's I'm sorry, or I'm not looking for any of that at all. That's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I know I'm going through something that somebody can learn and find useful. That's the main reason. And because I just want to be honest and let you guys know that this is something that's going on in my life right now. And it's something that is taking a lot of, I'd say, it's something that's big that's going on in my life, and I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't share it with you guys. So yeah, me and my dad typically, we didn't have the typical father-son relationship. My parents divorced at a very young age. I think I was around 3 or 4 years old, and I'm an only child. I live with my mom, and my mom's not from this country. My mom is from Scotland. I appreciate everybody wishing my mom congratulations for her 5K. She's been running all week. We'll get to that in another video, but yeah, it's been pretty much me and my mom And what's hard for me is that my dad, to the core, is such an amazing, full of life. You think I'm inspirational? You think I'm full of energy? He's me on another level. He is a really outgoing, enthusiastic, friends with everybody, just a big ball of joy and excitement. And I love my dad for that. You know, I mean, he was like a superhero. He played in the MLB, played Major League Baseball, was very successful, and the way that he met my mom, because I told you my mom was from Scotland, they met on the cruise ship because my mom decided she wanted out of Scotland, so she went to work on the cruise ships overseas. And the universe coordinated them together. Actually, I picked them too, so the universe, I coordinated them together. But that's for another video. But anyway, I coordinated them together and they met on the cruise ship. Bam! Out comes your boy, I think 5 or 6 years later. So, you know, this amazing person who my dad was, still is somewhere, but was in this physical realm, I'd always go over to my dad's house on the weekends, you know, because my mom had custody of me, and they had a good relationship. It wasn't a toxic baby mama, baby daddy. It wasn't anything like that. It was before there was even baby mama, baby daddy stuff. They had a good relationship, being divorced, and me having to go see my dad, or wanting to go see my dad on the weekend. So every Friday we'd drive halfway to go meet him, right? And although, you know, I love my dad, I just felt as I was growing up, even as I was a child, initially when I saw him, excitement, love, over the top, like just like the best person ever, best thing since sliced bread. And I noticed this when I was younger, but I didn't comprehend it. But as I got older, I noticed that as soon as we would get to my dad's, I would either go to my aunt's and hang out with my cousins, or we'd go to my grandma's, and I wouldn't really, it was like the fun moment that I had with my dad was him just picking me up. And then after that, it's almost like it felt like smoke and mirrors. It felt like a lot of, at first, and then when it came actual time, like dad's a full-time job. Being a parent is 24/7. So when it came time after the initial interview or the initial meeting, it just felt like everything else after that, the whole time I was there on the weekend, was lackluster. It just didn't feel like my dad was fully with me. Like when he saw me to pick me up with my mom, from the time us getting to his house that Friday night, it just didn't feel like, it felt like the consistency dwindled off, and I felt kind of like a burden. So you know, there's so much other detail that I can get into, but I'm not here to point the finger. I'm not here to say things, because, you know, the bottom line is he was in my life to a certain degree, when at the end of the day, there's people that don't even get a dad, or there's people that get a great, wonderful dad that's in their life 24/7, and then he gets taken away at a young age. So I'm very blessed to have what I had. But again, I'm painting a picture to tell you how I got to feel the way I feel today. Fast forward to my high school era. My dad wasn't really in my life, especially when I started playing basketball, but once I started getting good at basketball, I was on the varsity team. I ended up starting. You know, when it came to basketball, I taught myself through YouTube videos, watching Kobe Bryant. But once I started to get a little bit of action, all of a sudden, as you could come to find out or come to think, you know, my dad ended up showing up and really kind of elbowed his way into my life again. And you know, me wanting to have a father, me wanting to have my dad, to truly have him, of course, it wasn't even a second thought. I was like, yeah, I want my dad. And then he ended up being an assistant coach on the team. And my junior and senior year, my dad was on the bench. Although sophomore, freshman, 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, 6th grade, nothing. Dad wasn't in my life at all, right? At this time I was playing basketball. I was playing AAU, 6th grade, all the way up to even through high school, but all the way up until 11th grade once varsity came. You know, varsity is really the cornerstone of when things really start to get, I mean, intense, you know, in this matrix, in this 3D matrix, especially in the high school AAU era. So from 6th grade to 11th grade, nothing, right? Just me and my mom. And luckily, you know, I have an outgoing personality myself, so I had plenty of friends. I had plenty of father figures that were also in my life, just because, you know, through AAU I had made some great relationships. You know, not only me, but my mom is friends with, you know, my friends that are on the basketball team, their parents, and it was just this big, like, big kinship that we had. And so yeah, as I get to 11th grade, I start to really show potential. And then, you know, my dad comes around, and although it looked, and at first thought it was like, yeah, this is great, I ended up going backwards. You know, just to kind of get to what it is, it made it harder for me, because for whatever reason, I don't know why, but he was really strict on me all of a sudden, and made the game of basketball, which I just had found joy and love. And man, I had such a journey in basketball. If you guys want me to talk about my basketball journey, I can share that with you. But you know, it really helped me develop when I had no one there to help me develop myself. Basketball was one of the main things that helped me develop as a human being, my character, who I am today, and what I can actually be capable of on my own. So you know, once he got into the picture, my junior and senior year, it just was a downward spiral, because he got angry and I just didn't feel comfortable, just because, you know, I felt like I was being judged on my performance, when really at the end of the day, where have you been? You haven't been here, you know. And if I knew that things were going to be like that, I don't know what I would have done. But looking back, I would never change anything. But if I knew how that was going to be with this maturity, I would have been, nah, no thanks, because it was stressful. It was stressful. And you know, if you think of, you know, the American dad that, you know, wants their son to get to the NBA, and just wants their son to get to the NBA more than their son even wants to get to the NBA type of thing. And man, whoa, how come you froze up? And just, you know, it wasn't a healthy relationship at that point. So after my senior year, stopped playing basketball. Of course, dad disappears, right? And I started to realize, as I, you know, got into college, that I wanted to really create a relationship with my father. We still have plenty of time. We still have plenty of time. And I really wanted him to be in my life, especially now, because I just felt like life is short. And not so much life is short, but it's my dad. Like, let's figure this out. Let's figure it out. So that was around 2020 or 2012. And you know, it was just kind of, things would get good, and they would, basically, I think what it was, you know, I don't think my dad had a great foundation, despite his success with MLB, despite the character and the person he was. There was something within him that he didn't feel comfortable with, he didn't have an understanding of. There was something that wasn't developed. So when it came to actually walking the walk versus just talking the talk, I think there was a disconnect there. And right around 2020, 2021, right around when I opened up my carpet cleaning business, so the last 2-3 years, I really made it a statement. You got to remind yourself, 2010, 2012, I was around 18, 19 years old. Now, I'm 26, 27 years old. When you get closer to your 30s, you really start to realize, like, okay, where do I want to clean up areas in my life? Where are the things that I've always wanted to do that I've been putting off, or that I haven't really taken it seriously that I wanted to, right? You really start to look at yourself and look at your life and look at the areas that you want to excel in more. My family, my kin, I don't like to use the word family, but my kin, my father, my cousins, my dad's side, I really wanted to gain stronger relations with. Mainly my father, but eventually the rest. And so for this last 2-3 years, we've really made good commitment. We've really taken consistent action annually to, just have that father-son relationship that we wanted, that I wanted, and I think that he wanted. 2 years ago we went on a father-son trip. We went on a trip to Arizona, and that was such a fun trip. And I really got a chance to not only bond with my dad, but be myself and be who I was, and not altering myself, just because, I think that a lot of, children, whether it be, son to father, daughter to father, vice versa, what have you, I think sometimes, especially, you can desire your parents to accept you, so you're going to act a certain way or be a certain way than really who you are. And on that trip that we took 2 years ago, I didn't do that, and I was who I was regardless. And I didn't feel like I needed to change who I was, and I felt accepted, and it was really great. It was really great. So, I noticed in this last year, the communication was spotty, and again, I really amount that to just timing. I could say all these things that I am assuming, because I'm using data, I'm using actions, I'm using just the way that I'm communicating with my father. I can just tell just where he is in life. Even just seeing him, he just doesn't seem like he was doing. I was talking to my cousin, and I remember talking to her, and he just didn't seem healthy. And not healthy from a standpoint of like nutrition, even though he didn't have the best diet, but he wasn't like obese or anything. He wasn't like crazy out of shape, but he just didn't seem healthy internally. And I remember him telling me one day, right around that time when I started my business, and I reached out to him one day on his birthday, and I said, "Hey Dad, I just want to let you know that I love you, and that no matter what you think about our relationship, and no matter what you think about how things have turned out, that I'm always going to be here for you, and I'm always willing and open to us, building and creating the relationship that we've always wanted to have as father and son." And I remember telling him this when I was 18, right when I graduated. I told him this multiple times. And although I extended that olive branch out even as a young kid. For some reason, I just don't think my dad had the mental capacity, was in a place in his life, in his journey, where not only could he really hear that, but where he was really ready to take on that adventure, really truly accept to be a full-time dad and be there. Not like I'm not a grown-ass man and I need a dad, but just like me and my mom's relationship is like, how many crosses can I do on my body? Like, we're tight, you know. We don't talk every single day, but you would think that we did, right? And I know that, you know, my mom and my, you know, the relationships are going to be identically the same, but I was looking for something, you know, in that realm, in that vicinity with my dad as I had with my mom. So I remember telling him, I'm always going to be here, you know, and when you're ready to really, you know, do this, I'm always here, and don't think that I don't want to do this or I don't love you, and, you know, just reassuring him. And he was really, I think he felt some type of way emotionally, but he did a good job of masking that. And he told me this, he said, you know, and I don't know what to think about this, because, you know, it is what it is, but he said, you know, Michael, his name was Michael too. I'm Michael too, but his name was Michael as well. He said, you know, son, I don't really, or he said, you know, Michael, when you have a kid, it's not like they give you an instruction manual on how to be a dad, you know. And that's pretty much, that's literally all he really said. And although that's kind of like, what the fuck, that's kind of a lame ass, I get what he means. Like, he didn't really, you know, you don't really know how to be a dad. You just have to be the best. Well, now I'm filling in the blank, you know. And you know, I think at the end of the day, I know this to the core of my heart, he did the best he could. He did the best he could with what he had in life and what he was capable of creating, not only on the outside but within himself, the environment that he had within himself. But honestly, if I have to be honest, you can hear the tone in this video. I have shed tears, I have been sad, but I have also been irritated, I've also been angry, I've also been disappointed, I've also been accepting and happy. My emotions have been all over the place, because I guess honestly I wasn't ready for him to leave. I mean, when are you ever ready, right? You're never going to be ready for something like this. But I think also because I still believe that we had that opportunity still in our cards. We had plenty of time to still create and have that father-son relationship that we had both always wanted since the day I came into this world. And I think now that we don't get to experience that, and it was taken away in an instant, I guess you can say, I don't want to say that I've struggled. I don't want to say that I've struggled, but it's been an interesting grievance. It's been an interesting acceptance. And though I feel and think that I'm close to fully accepting, this video is definitely going to help, because I wanted to make this also too for a third reason, just to kind of get things out into the air, you know, just to kind of get things off my chest to heal. Ultimately, although we don't get to still have that chance to mend or take that relationship, that father-son relationship, to where, you know, I felt in my heart where I wanted it or where I thought it could have been. I was just thinking this, I still feel like I can heal and we can still have a relationship in this manner of me being accepting of what he has given me. He has given me so much. He has given all the people around him so much, as far as enthusiasm, as far as encouragement. And I know that that's all he needed to give, you know. To be totally honest with you, I don't think I would be anywhere close to myself. Well, obviously I know I wouldn't be anywhere close to myself if we did have that traditional family structure that the powers that be or that propaganda paints. It's again, it's bittersweet, and still to this day I feel like I'm letting go, but I still know that there is some clearing up, some clarity, some cleaning up to do around that topic. But I know that I'm on that track to doing that, and I'm on my way to doing that. But ultimately, man, I love my father, and I wish he was still here to see, you know, what we've been doing and what we are going to continue to do, because I know that he believed in me. I know he believed in me. And although, you know, we had a rocky start, you know, where we were was day and night to where we were, you know, back in my high school days, or back when, you know, even before then, especially before then. So, you know, dear Dad, this message is for you. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I hope you're watching over me. I hope you're watching over Mom and all the rest of your loved ones. I want to thank you for everything that you've given me, my mother, the world. And I also want to say I appreciate everything that you continue to give me now that you're guiding me in spirit. And I guess really all I got to say is now, get your popcorn, brother, because I'm going to put on a show down here for you. I know we didn't make it to the NBA. I mean, shoot, that's still in the cards. You know, I've said this before. Give me 90 days. Give me 6 months. I know I can make it to at least the G League, and I can go up from there. And we may do that. I may turn into J. Cole. First, I got to drop the mixtape or the album. You know, we got 13 goals. You know, we're doing this right now. But Dad, I know you loved movies too. You loved movies. Get your popcorn, grab your snacks, get your drinks, because we're about to get cinematic. Cinematic. You're not going to want to miss this show, Pops. And I thank you, because everything that you believed in me, everything that you knew about me, that I may not have known, all that hardness that you gave to me, pause, in varsity days, basketball, all that you saw in me that I didn't see and I didn't know. I felt something. Everything you saw in me that I didn't see and I didn't know, grab your popcorn. So I'm about to let it all out. Love you, Dad. Thank you.